Hi, I'm Aumkara for Aumkara Structural Bodyworks. Let's begin with a seed thought. My body cells obey my will. They dance divine vitality. I am well. I am strong. I am a flowing river of boundless power and energy. Paramhansa Yogananda talked a lot about food. And in particular, he gave a lot of recipes, or what he called amazing health remedies, and this is an interesting one for dinner. 2 glassfuls of grapefruit juice, honey, and ground nuts. And the ground nuts would have been about 2 tablespoons. In peanuts, in 2 tablespoons, you're going to get about 6 grams of protein, about the same as 1 egg. You'll get a fair number of fats that turn into good essential fats and acids that make good hormones. This is important for body health. Another comment Yogananda made was that peanuts are good for general health and also help with elimination. According to another teacher, according to Dr. Jerry Tennant, you cannot be well without good stomach acid. And the adrenals and the thyroids need the good stomach acid to break down fats and proteins to make the hormones to make them run well. In addition, the brain runs on neurochemicals, which also are hormones, and if you don't have the fats and proteins available to make those, then you will affect your personality, your function. To make good stomach acid, he goes on to say, you need vitamin B1, thiamine, or iodine, zinc, salt, and enough energy to make all those things work. Voltage is another word for pH. If you have a lack of those, lack causes an allergy to all proteins and all carbohydrates that you eat. You'll lose the ability to absorb fats because of the lack of cholecystokinin, which causes the gallbladder to dump, which is made when you can make strong stomach acid in the stomach as an enzyme. You can't make thyroid, adrenal hormones, neurochemicals, because you will not be able to make tyrosine. And you'll also have candida in large amounts in the large intestine. Undigested proteins are an environment for fungus and bacteria. And of course, with the zinc deficiency, there's a wide number of things that happen when we do not have enough zinc. Principally, it weakens our immune system. And with the phosphorus deficiency, then we'll also tend to have bad teeth. There is also magnesium in peanuts, and that is essential for the flexibility of the tendons and the strength of tendons. It's good for repairing all fascia tissue and skin. So for recipe, we have 2 cups, 2 glasses of grapefruit juice. I'll put that in our blender. You want a blender that will beat things up pretty good, because even though we're going to try to use creamy peanut butter or finely ground peanuts, you need something that can break it up more. So these old Vitamixes, sometimes you can run these things pretty inexpensively. You can also get a NutriBullet. There are lots of different things that are out there. So we've got our 2 glasses of grapefruit juice in there. I'm going to go after our peanut butter. Okay, good fresh ground peanut butter without just peanuts. Yeah, this one's organic dry roasted peanuts. That's all that's in it. Some of them just have peanuts alone, not even dry roasted, raw peanuts. That would probably be better. So this one's a little, even though it's supposed to be creamy, you can see there is some chunkiness to it. So there's our 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. The amount of honey you need for this much grapefruit juice is substantial. If our tablespoon was clean, we would be using that, because it's going to take about 4 to 6 teaspoons of honey. And so fairly close to their juice. So if you wind it like so, you're going to get close to 2 teaspoons on 1 teaspoon. We'll plop it in here like so. Use our little spatula to scrape it off. If you have a plastic squeeze bottle, you can calibrate your squeezes, which will speed up this process for you. Honey, if it's a local raw honey, is extremely good for you in helping to build your immune system. Of course, once you start breaking down fats and proteins effectively, you'll also find that your allergies will tend to go away also. According to Dr. Tennant, you need iodine to make good stomach acid. There's very little iodine in the North American continent soils. Yogananda recommended that we use a sea salt with kelp added to it, or vegetables, dried vegetables with kelp added to them, instead of straight salt. This is Maine Coast sea seasonings, and it's just different kinds of kelps that have been granulated. And we're going to get a 1/4 teaspoon, put that in our blender with everything else. Quarter teaspoon will add the electrolytes without impacting the taste too much. A salty taste in the evening might not be such a bad idea. And in fact, salty grapefruit juice is a very good electrolyte replacement. Tastes really good. Okay, let's blend this up. Still sour. So we're going to need about 4 teaspoons. Well, closer to 8, because those are very heaping with stuff on both sides to make 16 ounces of grapefruit juice sweet. We also have a little bit of the peanuts, so we have a little bit of chewing to do. Not absolutely horrible, but we would prefer this to be almost like peanut flour. I believe there is such a thing. However, the more finely you grind something that allows oxygen to get to it, then it becomes oxidized and it reacts less, and you're not going to get the benefits of it. The ideal, probably, which to be to have your own raw peanuts, grind them yourself in a nut grinder, and then toss them into the juice. And perhaps if you do that in the evening, Yogananda listed this as a dinner recipe. I think it would be all right to have it for breakfast. Let's see if we're there. There he is. So, for 16 ounces of grapefruit juice, we're going to need on the order of 8 teaspoons of honey to get it balanced. This is a pretty big meal. This is going to have a fair amount of calories to it with the grapefruit juice, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter, and 8 teaspoons of honey, or 4 really heaping teaspoons of honey. However, if that's all you're having for dinner, you might be able to convince yourself that you are well satisfied, and that's important. When we feel like we are denying ourselves, that creates a reaction in ourselves that's not useful. Almost inevitably, we bound back the other way, rebound back the other way, and do something to fix that, and that usually amounts to chips and other things that are not helpful for us. pain-free strength and flexibility. It's your birthright, claim it.